We got a fairly easy one here for you. Got an older MPD snowblower. It's got some carb issues. So let's get to it and show you. You can do it too. So what's the symptoms of this guy? Well, he was running pretty good, but he was kind of stumbling every so often, and it ran pretty decent, but it would just stumble. You know, they'd run for a few minutes and then kind of stumble a little bit. I figured a little bit of water in the fuel, so we have a drain valve on the bottom of this carburetor bowl and this Tecumseh carburetor. And we pulled out a whole bunch of water. So hopefully that was all the water that was sitting in the system. The tank looked clean. So not a lot of junk came out of the carburetor, but we're going to service it anyway. We'll put a new kit in it just to make sure that it's good to go. We got a Tecumseh carb kit 631021B. I got two. Pull two out of the box, but you know, only need one. There we go. And inside this kit, carburetor bowl gasket, bowl nut gasket, the small rubber seat there, and the needle and retainer clip for the float valve. So that's what we got to put in for a kit. I've tipped it over. And just to show you, you can do it with tools you got hanging around the house. We have a regular old C-clamp closing off the fuel line. And say, you can do this yourself. You know, stuff you got laying around. You can use all the tools you got. You don't need too many special tools for this. The only real special tool, it makes this a lot easier, is you go down to the hardware store. You buy yourself a set of torch tip cleaners for welding torches, that sort of thing. They come in all different sizes inside, little pieces of wire. And that's so we can help poke through all the orifices in the jet and everything like that. So the only other specialized tool that I have here is a Tecumseh seat tool. That's for this space here is for adjusting the float height. We've got this nib on the end for putting that seat back in the carburetor, and we've got the crochet hook on the other end. That's all that is. It's a crochet hook for pulling the old seat back out of the carburetor. You can do this with two different size drill bits. One smaller drill bit to kind of screw into that seat, pull it out. On the other end, you can use a back end of a little bit larger drill bit that's the same size as the hole to push that seat back in. But this tool I have, well, I do it a lot, so this tool makes my life a little easier. So you can do it with drill bits. I did for years. Let's have a look at this bowl on here. See that, everyone? Okay, let's zoom it in a little bit, see what we got. Da, 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 da. A little bit of snow coming down here, so this is what happens when you know, this might be your situation. Snow might be coming. You see, I got a drain pan just hiding underneath here. Is that carburetor? So there you go. Sometimes this is all you have to do if your carburetor's not running right. That's clean as a whistle. You may not have to put that carburetor kit in there. So there's our, where's our jet? There's our main jet. It's clean as a whistle. We'll run the tool through it anyway. I think we just had some water issues in here. Take note of where the bowl is oriented. This higher part of the bowl fits over where the pin goes in the float. So you just kind of grab a hold of it and gently wiggle it and pull it off. Well, there's no real debris in there. It's just a little bit of, I think we got all the water out. What I may do is just replace the the bowl gasket on there. If this one's not okay, sometimes you stretch. You can get those separate. I do stock those myself separate, because sometimes you just need to pull the bowl off and have a quick look, and sometimes that gasket's screwed up. So make sure you don't lose the pin on the bottom of that. And this is definitely a very good quality original Tecumseh carburetor. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give that a spray off, make sure you place any water that's in there. The bowl was spotless, so we'll clean that out too. Just give it a spray for my dirty glove. I wipe my finger in there. You do this with just a simple rag. Make sure it's clear. So that is all. So that's spotless. So we don't have a dirt issue. I'm sure we'll just blow that jet out. I'll put the bits through it anyway just to make sure it's not, but it's spotless. It is spotless. So you can do this with a bristle of a wire brush sometimes, or if you know someone who plays guitar, swipe some guitar strings, used ones from them. They work pretty well for doing this. Now, on these bowl nuts, you see that little tiny hole right there. Often these are covered up with junk and they're completely clogged up. So you got to make sure you double check the top of those threads and make sure you get that tool all the way down inside there and it bottoms out. You can see it inside the jet. And make sure everything's clear. Make sure everything's good and clean. And that's good and clean. Sometimes you might have to use a piece of Scotch-Brite on that and get that clean so you can get to the holes. So there you go. So I think we're good. That gasket's still fine. The bottom of that float bowl there, everything seems to be good there. Let's try and put our gasket back on. Sometimes you might have to put a little WD-40 or a little bit of lube on that. Well, this is why we have a kit. That gasket's toast. So if you hold on a sec, I'll go grab a gasket and we'll go to it. Here I am, went to the parts bin. This is a 631028A. Part number 631028A. And this is just the lone bowl gasket. And what that does, the O-ring, that seals the bowl to the carb body. So if we don't need a whole carb kit, you only need one of these. They're only a couple bucks. You know, really inexpensive. So if you just need to check your carburetor, you want to make sure there's no water in it, because if it ran great one day and then not the next, well, this could be your problem. Because not all the Tecumseh carburetors have the valve on the bottom to drain any water and debris out. Something we are going to do, a little bit of corrosion around the outside of that rim of that bowl where that gasket goes. So I like to spray with a little bit of carb clean or brake clean. Take my Scotch-Brite. Everyone knows how much I love Scotch-Brite as a tool. I'm just going to scrub that off a little bit. You can buy these bowls separate. I stock a few. Sometimes they get rotten. Not all that often, but sometimes they do, so you got to have them. Makes it a lot easier if you're trying to service machines. You know, winter in a snowstorm for somebody, for a customer, and you don't have the parts. But your local shop should have these kind of things right on hand. See, I got my drain pan down there just to keep from putting all this into the atmosphere on the ground. There we go. So we'll open up our gasket. And here's our gasket. And gently. Sometimes the gloves just get in the way, so let's go down here. Why take it off if you don't have to? Fish that around. Gently. Put that around that surface down there. And we'll take a little finagling. to get that on that carburetor. Well, we just got to figure out which direction you want to make it move. And just kind of get around there. We don't need our bin anymore. Any more fluids to worry about. A lot of naysayers out there say, oh, you can take the whole carburetor off and put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, no. You don't need to do that all the time. If it ran yesterday or ran a few weeks ago, it hasn't set for very long, and you've got issues, well, it might just been a bunch of water ended up in there, which is the case with this one. You see, it's spotless. Now, this goes where this raised spot goes on the bowl, goes right in the same parallel to that pin that holds the float in there. Everything's moving. That's good. So what I like to do is put just a little bit of WD-40 on that surface where, you can see that or not. See if we can focus here. A little bit of WD-40 around that surface where that gasket goes. Just so when it goes on there, it slides on the gasket, because the gasket's rubber, like a tire. It's kind of grippy. So we want to make sure it's going to slide on there real nice. And make sure we get that lined up there. Bang! Just slide right on there. If you didn't put that WD-40 or a bit of lube on there, some silicone lube might help too, but this is a little bit less messy. And then, if that bowl gasket was bad, we can put one of those on too, but let me use the whole carb kit in that case. Put that back in there. See, we didn't even need a ratchet. A regular 1/2-inch wrench is all you need. It's always good to have one of those carb kits. If you own one of these old snowblowers with the Tecumseh engine on it and the Tecumseh carburetor, I would strongly recommend having at least one of these kits on hand at all times, if not two, because they're only a few bucks each. Sometimes you can buy them on Amazon. Sometimes the aftermarket kits are okay, sometimes they're not, but it's good to have, a couple of those, because if you need to check your carburetor and that gasket's bad, well, you got the whole kit there to put it in. There we go. Just snug it up, not too tight. I'll go flip this back over on its wheels and pull that C-clamp off of that fuel line, and we'll see if it runs. We'll come back. All right, there you go, YouTube. Another one fixed. Real simple. Didn't really need much for parts. Hey, man, you can do it too. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of all of my videos. Ask me what you think, you might want for a video for me. Are you interested in small engines, audio, whatever. I do all kinds of different stuff. So let me know in the comments. Have a good one. Stay safe. Have fun. And always, rock on.